Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Cities with John. I am this old gamer, and I'm thrilled to have you along for the ride today as we are all set for Downtown episode 26, and good lord, it's cloudy. Or is that smog? We have no environmentally friendly laws on this island. Hopefully one day we will. Welcome back, and today is going to be a lot of fun as we are zooming in closely on the Coca-Cola Center. Today we're going to build a district right around this beautiful new arena. Stick around, we will be right back.
This Old Gamer is paid for by contributions by viewers like you, and by...
Some things in life are essential, like food, shelter, and of course high-speed internet. That's why at 56 OK Internet, we are committed to bringing you the fastest high-speed internet your bank account can afford. And unlike our competitors, we don't require a special modem or router for our service. Simply plug it in and play. Just like the glory days of yesteryear. Straight from your phone line. 56 OK Internet makes the World Wide Web absolute breeze. Why haven't you switched? Check out 56 OK Internet today. Coca-Cola Center, good look at it. Officially open for business on episode 25 3/4. Not much going on there due to the global pandemic. Got a personal look at that pandemic. Last week I was diagnosed with COVID-19 along with Katie. We're both doing okay. She got a little bit worse case than I did, but we're both doing fine. So making the video is only going to make me feel better. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Now, as you can see on this telestrator, I'm marking this is going to be areas that I'm going to be mostly office. Okay. Now, where this blue is, I'm going to put in a really large parking lot, hypothetically, that's going to be underneath the underpass there. And that green is kind of a future episode type thing. That's going to be kind of like a park along the shore, or at least somewhat of a park that goes along that quay. Now this red, this is an interesting color. This represents how horrible the traffic is about to be. It already kind of is. Way too many two-lane roads. That was kind of a mistake. These little back roads that go around the arena, already getting very jammed. There's a smiley face and a big thumbs up, as in the like button. So first off, let me just say that putting together a downtown can be a little bit challenging. This is really my first big downtown build. And I know what you're saying, John, this is downtown episode 26. You've had 25 3/4 episodes to figure out how to do this. Well, it's not that I haven't figured it out, but the choices that you have to make on what buildings you want to use, you're going to see a lot of these buildings don't make the cut. They don't make the final version of this district, which, spoiler alert, I have decided to name this area Sloop John City. Yeah, the originality on this island is just overflowing as of late. Here we have a little club, and also we have a Zany's Comedy Club. That is actually a replica of the one in Nashville, Tennessee, I do believe. Zany's Comedy Club. But yes, building selection can be tough. Your downtown results may vary. If you are a modder who uses the workshop and you download a lot of assets, there's so many different downtown buildings to choose from. So many. So I tried to do for mine, I was kind of thinking a variety, okay? I wanted some older buildings, as some of this area is old. And I wanted some newer buildings, as some of this area is new. The road that houses the bus lanes, for example, is a newer road. It's kind of like a bypass for buses and taxis and stuff like that. But Grand Avenue and the outer loop that goes around the backside of the arena and all that, those are kind of older roads. They've been around a while. So some of the older buildings are along that road. The main strip that runs parallel with the railroad tracks, that road's been there a long time. So that road is got some of the older buildings on it. So that's kind of what my thought process was. these giant condos that I'm working on here, right on the corner of the bus bypass. And this right here is kind of my crown jewel of Grand Avenue. This BBVA building, I'll post a link with that one. It's a beautiful asset. And as you can see, I started with it across the street from where it's at now. Lots of trial and error when it comes to your downtown buildings. Okay, so if you find yourself bulldozing the crap out of your downtown, don't worry about it. It is what it is. You just got to find the right combination of buildings and assets that are going to make sense for your particular downtown. Okay? All right. Here's a new Buffalo Wild Wings by King Leno. Beautiful. Love it. Absolutely love it. One of the weirdest things about COVID-19 has been loss of taste and smell. It was actually kind of my breaking point with realizing that I needed to go get tested. I'd kind of felt a little under the weather. Didn't really think much of it. But when I noticed that my taste was gone, I was like, oh crap. It is so weird eating stuff with absolutely no taste. It's like all you can feel is the texture of food. It is so odd. And I'm somebody that took every precautionary measure you possibly could. But I do work in retail, so, not exactly the best job in the world to avoid COVID-19. But it is what it is. Like I said, we're doing okay. I don't mean to talk about it, but of course it has kind of been a big part of my life in the last week. But it has allowed me to make this other video, and hey, I'm happy that I feel like making this video. We had some really cool plans, me and Katie and I should say. I have to watch my grammar if she's going to watch these videos. She, like I said, she's had a little bit worse case of it. She's doing okay. She's been sleeping and resting a lot, as we both have. So these are some kind of like sports bar looking places. I thought maybe they'd tie into the B-dubs, and I went ahead and got rid of those garages that didn't really work there. But I thought these looked really cool across from the arena, kind of like local pubs to hang out with. Now, take a look at this, okay? See the sides of the road here. None of this will be here shortly, okay? Very shortly. None of this will be here. But you do kind of get that focal point on the BBVA building. I love how that looks like a center point to Grand Avenue here. Really like it. Alright, like I said, none of this will be here. So here I'm just kind of moving the buildings that were over by that curve. I'm just kind of moving them closer to the actual corner, because I thought that what I did here is, you see the little pyramid on top, that is actually the Luxor Casino. I turned into a procedure object and just put on top of that. It kind of fit perfectly. And I was like, you know what? That looks like a really cool, like, beginning of Grand Avenue type entrance. So I just decided, you know what? I'll move that up. And now here I'm using that sidewalk kind of to have like a straight line here from my buildings. Now this big lot of land, there used to be a building here, okay? And it got tore down. That's the story, okay? But ultimately, it's kind of like repurposed land and putting some new businesses in where the old building used to be that you never really saw. But also the sidewalk kind of represents like how the road probably used to be before the bus bypass was entered. This little road here that's coming off this little, it's a one-way road. Probably at one point went straight into Grand Avenue, but instead now it goes into the bus bypass first. Here's another little office building. I actually used that same office building all the way back in the forestry industry, some of my first videos. I highly recommend that you do not watch those. I don't even watch them. I do not watch them. They are comically bad. Not that these are good episodes now, but yeah, they're pretty rough. This is a Star Trust building here. It's kind of like, it's a vanilla looking building. It might even be a vanilla building. But I really like the look of it. And then again, just trying to find the right buildings to wedge in different points. I really like this building here, but decided to put it over next to the arena. Again, you're going to see a lot of trial and error. That looks like a good fit right there. Boom. Okay. So a lot of skipping around. I apologize for that, but I'm trying to get to the point of kind of building up and doing the detailing. This building here, it's gone. Now this area here is kind of like the main focal point, as we established with the large BBVA building. And we're kind of putting some modern buildings around it, and that's going to open it up for a nice little plaza area. And then we're just doing some detailing around this condo. Oh, come on, really? Lots of curves and lots of different little angles and stuff. I'm trying to make different pathways, as this is going to be like a little Grand Central area. So I took this Grand Central sign, put it up on a granite procedure objects cube texture thing, and just to make it look a little unique. So yeah, lots of little curves. As you can see, that's starting to kind of come together. Adding these curves kind of establishes, you know, go this direction, go that direction, and it kind of gives it a little bit more of a finished, polished look, I guess you could say. And this big open slab between the road and the sidewalk, we are going to add some little food stands and like little kiosk type things, putting down some bollards. I learned how to say that in the last episode, but I don't think I'm saying it right still. So we have a little food stand. How about a little plant? You get one little plant. That'll really bring out the customers. And then we're gonna just add the little bushes here on each one of these curbs. Yeah, there we go. Simple. Over here by the Star Trust Bank building, just adding in a little bit more curves, adding a little bit more detail to it. I decided just to use the same decal patterns that I had around the staircases all throughout this Grand Avenue area. I actually use it a little bit later in the plaza area, and I think it just looks good. I don't really see the point in doing anything else outside of those. Now I do use some red bricks around the bank, around this white building here. That's the building that I'm calling the Star Trust building. It's a vanilla asset. I'm almost positive it is, but it looks really cool. It's a really nice asset. That looks nice. I throw down some cones for where the decals don't really meet up very well. And we're going to put down a few more of these little plant hedges. And then here are the brick decals I'm going to use for around this bank. Just to give it a different look from the rest of this sidewalk. And we're just going to bring it all the way around the back of this building as well. I will be putting down some invisible pathways where people can walk in between the buildings where applicable. All right, so remember what was here? Yes, like I said, If you blink, you might miss it. We took down all that you see there. It's now gone. And what I'm using is these module park packs, which are kind of cool. You can connect the pathways where people will walk down those pathways, and instead of actually putting in just a path, you can just use those. They kind of have a unique look because it's not an actual path that you use like in the path menu, so it looks a little bit different. And what I decided to do here, kind of my thought process was, it just didn't really look right with the older buildings coming off of that corner to this main entrance to Grand Avenue. I figured that the arena area, and being a new development, and all this kind of being a newer development area, it would make more sense for this to also be a little bit newer development. And I decided to just go with residential, and that way I could kind of put these condominiums like throughout this area, and I just feel like this looks a lot better and more modern. It kind of matches the theme to this area of Grand Avenue next to the arena. So using some smaller condos in behind these larger ones, and just positioning them where they kind of go along the path, and then where this path is running out, since this is a module park, I'm just adding in my own pathways. This will be a nice little place to put a playground. Just throw in a, not that. Let's see. There we go. Just like that. Now, we're just going to kind of fill this up with trees. Now, you might remember on my telestrator, I said I was going to put a parking lot over here underneath the overpass, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm actually just filling it up with trees and shrubbery and different things like that. Just kind of fixing this. Throw in that works. Yeah, right over here next to these power lines, we're just going to throw in some prop bushes because they take up a lot of space, and yeah, they help fill stuff up. Just going to fill it all up over here. And we're going to put some like dirt decals underneath this. If we can get them to cooperate. Where's the other dirt decal? There it is. There we go. And we'll just put some bushes and stuff along here. There we go. That works. All right. Now comes the fun part. This is, like I said, using the same decal system that I was using around the staircases from the arena. And I'm just kind of using the same decals and extending it all the way up to this residential building. This is actually this white and orange building is the 27 on Grand. You might remember the 27.
27 is wall-to-wall carpeting.
Beautiful condominium area over next to Cape Town, actually. But this is their Grand Avenue version. And then just kind of extending it over there as well. And then right down the road here, extending those. We'll come back and extend that even further. Now this is a little park plaza that matches this very well. It's kind of the same color tone. Actually looks like it fits these decals almost like it was meant to be. Really like how that looks. Now I've added these little restaurants. Those are all actual assets minus the Wendy's. Well, that's an asset as well, but that one is actually procedure objects. But the McDonald's and KFC there are actually functioning. I don't know if people are going to be able to reach it since they're so far from the road. And then we have these pegulas. Is that the right word for that? I don't know. I'm not cutting this. I do all these videos in one take. And sometimes I say something and I come back and just kind of like I used to pronounce Keys Quays until Katie corrected me. God love her. What would I do without her, you know? So we're going to put down the Starbucks. And then the first of about 1,000 billboards. Right there. Right there, yes. So the idea behind this is kind of like a large plaza, kind of a Times Square vibe, with lots of advertisements and things like that. A lot of foot traffic in this area, so what a great place to have a million different advertisements and things and gaudy billboards and things of that nature. Right? Right. So here I am taking this large circle curb and kind of making like a cool art sculpture. Kind of the same idea that I did in Cape Town. So yeah, how about some music? Check it out. Now that we got our letters put up, I have this fountain. I had to convert that fountain to procedure objects to get it elevated. Unfortunately, when you convert that to a procedure object, the fountain quits functioning. So what I decided to do is take the time to just get some little waterfalls, and these waterfalls will just kind of make this thing look alive again. So just put the waterfalls in where the water was streaming out, and I also have like a water decal there, so it looks like there's water still in it. And yeah, just putting these little waterfalls all around this guy. Literally this guy, some famous guy. I'm sorry, I don't have anything to make up. It's the one loss you're going to have today from my COVID. So I can't make up people on the spot. But I like how that turned out. I like the Grand Avenue letters. Now we're just putting some vines and stuff around this, kind of to disguise that ugly green. Some bushes here for good measure. Let's see if we can find some that'll just stick up a little bit here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, these will work. Cool. Love it. Now here we are using the next big step in procedure objects. Our boy Simon has really outdone himself. This is a module mod that allows you to rotate, move objects around and rotate objects. Here I've made a Noah's Arcade sign. You remember Noah's Arcade from a previous commercial. Your home of Orlando 500 Arcade, Whackman, and Road Fighter 2. Those are all just amazing arcade machines. But yes, this mod allows you to move stuff around just like I did with this Noah's Arcade sign. You can use that, of course, a million different ways, but that's what I decided to use it for on this episode. Now these are some railroad bridge trusses here. But what I am using them for is they're going to kind of be like a support mechanism for all these signs that we're about to put up here. This will allow us to, I didn't really want to put the signs directly onto the building in all cases, so this allows us to have a place to kind of mount all these signs where they're still kind of out in the forefront, but they're not, you know, just blasted on the side of the buildings. Now I still do, as you can see, I still put some signs on the buildings here. Now what I did here is I used multiple types of signs. These signs here are animated, light up, look really cool, fit the style I'm going for in this particular plaza area. And then here using the same animated TV screens, kind of like we used on the arena. This is a Nike ad, I believe. So yeah, this looks really cool. We're just going to move this Samsung one up over. Yes, we have this PlayStation banner sign. I'm actually going to put this over here. You notice that circular thing that the Noah's Arcade sign is on, that is actually part of the BBVA building. As I was saying earlier, finding the right combination of buildings. This building had that attached to the side. It's kind of like a stairwell, but what a great place to put a revolving sign like that, right? I mean, you know, those are the kind of things that you're only going to discover when you're just putting a lot of stuff down and seeing what fits. Building up some buildings, throwing it against the wall and seeing what fits. Does that make any sense at all? These animated signs look really fantastic. The Samsung and Toshiba and all that are by Othercakes. And the animated TV, large TV there in the middle is by Stringer Bell. So shout out to those two creators, as well as all the creators that I failed to mention. There's just so many of them, but I always hit that thumbs up button. Regardless, I always hit that thumbs up button. Just give them recognition for hard work, right? So again, we're just adding. Now you might have noticed that Google, that one building there on the right is perfect because the beams on that building stick out enough where you can put the sign kind of inside of those beams, where the beams are on top of the sign, which I think makes it look way more realistic. Now I'm putting a couple of billboards up here on the 27 condo building, and that is just for the heck of it. These smaller signs, I'm actually just using some smaller signs to just fill up these gaps just a tad. I'm going to adjust a few of these along the way. I really had a lot of fun putting this together. This was, along with the arena, has been one of the more fun builds, one of the more fun episodes for me to work on. I actually had about 49 minutes on this episode, and obviously I knew that wasn't going to work. I'm sure a lot of people tune off way earlier than 20 minutes. So thanks YouTube for informing me of that. But I didn't want to have a 49-minute episode, so I did cut out a lot of the building placement just so I could show you more of this plaza work, because I really enjoyed it and I think it turned out really well. Alright, so we're just kind of getting down to the nitty gritty. Got that Dave & Buster's sign there. There isn't a Dave & Buster's around here. There is going to be one down the street just a little bit. Have this Amazon sign. I'm going to use procedure objects, make it a tad bit bigger. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to blow it up just a little bit. Again, you can see how that kind of fits behind the beams on the building, which I just love. I think that does look a lot more realistic. Got this little H&M sign. And what are we doing? Now this building here, I'm going to use these palm signs. This is not the palms, but these signs fit perfectly on this building. So what the heck? I think it looks cool. Yeah, we don't want to use that. We already ripped off one casino. We don't want to rip off another one. And we'll just take this Ford sign, shrink it up, and put it up here. So we get rid of these little pillars that are on the bottom of it. There we go. Ford is the official automobile maker of Sloop John Island, if you weren't familiar. Hopefully they'll be a sponsor to the channel one day. Now these are some skylights it's from the mall set. I'm just using them here to kind of make a top to this railroad rafter thing. I just think it looks kind of cool. I'll get rid of this one here. So, not only is it a thing that holds up all these signs, but it kind of serves as a front porch to the apartment complex there, if you will. Now, we're going to add, I already put up some numbers here, 27, and then we're going to put at Grand, since there are other 27 apartments. We don't want the residents to get confused of which Grand location they live at. Going to put this up here on top. These are also procedure object cubes and shapes and stuff. The same thing I used to make the Noah's Arcade revolving sign. Very handy. Very, very handy indeed. Really like how this plaza turned out. Can't wait to see how the citizens of Sloop John Island like it. Hope they like it as much as I like it. Well, that about does it for this episode of Cities with John. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed building it. This arena district is complete, and Sloop John City is well on its way to being a tourist and financial capital of the entire United States of America. There, I said it. Well, we will see you next time. I'm This Old Gamer. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself, and bye-bye.